Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Doge and welcome to another video. I know it's been a while, but I'm very excited for this one, considering it's something a little different from what I used to do, and it's definitely something I've been wanting to do for a while now. This is actually a project I had in mind for quite a long time, but due to the lack of time and motivation, the idea was put on standby. Anyways, for those of you asking what the video is all about, this is actually the very first episode of my new upcoming game review series, which I am proud to call Doge's Game Reviews. Seriously, I didn't have a better name for this. Just before we start, I'd like to apologize in advance in case any of the things I'm about to address are incorrect. Even though I did my research, I don't know every single detail about the game, so yeah. In case I do get something wrong, please write down in the comments the stuff that I said wrong and correct me. Anyways, without further ado, let's hop right into the very first review, which is from a childhood game that will always hold a special place in my memory, Team Fortress 2. Team Fortress 2 was created and published on Steam on October 10th, 2007 by Valve, one of the most notorious game development companies who was responsible for the making of a few classics we all know and love, such as Half-Life, Portal, Left 4 Dead, Counter-Strike, and Dota 2. Originally, TF2 was a paid game, but it eventually became free to play on the 23rd of June 2011 and has remained that way ever since. TF2 is a team-based first-person shooter, better known as FPS, with a very simple objective: killing people. No, seriously, there isn't a clear objective to the game itself, since the game has multiple game modes, which means that in each of those game modes, you have a specific objective. For example, capture the intel, in which both teams need to steal the opposite team's intelligence 3 times in order to win. Payload, where the attacking team needs to push the card to the enemy's last point, having a certain amount of time to do it, while the defending team needs to stop the cards from reaching their last point before the time reaches 0. Attack and defend, where the attacking team needs to capture all of the control points one by one before the time is up, while the defending team needs to stop the attacking team from contesting the last point before the time ends. And control points, where you have a total of 5 points scattered around the map that each team must contest. Only 1 point can be captured at a time in order to unlock the remaining points, and the team who can sequentially capture all 5 control points wins the match. Now, these were just a few examples of the many different game modes you can play. There are a total of 9 playable game modes, 5 of them being the core game modes, and the 4 remaining being the alternative game modes. You also have seasonal game modes from time to time. And by the way, each game mode has its own set of different maps to choose from, currently existing over 100 maps in the game. And if you think all that is too much, this is only the official matchmaking. You also have an array of community maps to have fun with, from death runs to hide and seek and prop hunts and so much more. And not to mention, there is also a competitive mode for the brave people who don't mind spending over a fucking hour looking for a match. No, seriously, if you really want to play competitive, I would recommend you playing the community competitive called Highlander. Finally, there's Man vs. Machine, the best game mode ever to exist in this game. Now, obviously, that's just my opinion, but I can tell you why this is hands down my favorite game mode ever. I mean, why not take a break on killing humans, where you can just team up with 5 other people and fight waves as giant scary robots? You have a sequence of waves, each one being harder than the previous one. But fear not, because you have an array of upgrades that you can acquire to enhance your gameplay, helping you complete the rounds. Now, I'm not gonna include the training mode because, let's be real, it would be way too boring to talk about that, and the name says it all, you just practice with bots. Okay, now let's dig a bit deeper into the gameplay, and with that, let's start with the classes. TF2 has a total of 9 playable classes you can choose from, which are subdivided in 3 different categories. The Scout, Soldier, and Pyro are offense classes. The Demoman, Heavy, and Engineer are defense classes. And the Medic, Sniper, and Spy are support classes. Each class has its own set of weapons, health, movement speed, and role within the team. With the exception of the Engineer and the Spy, each character has 3 weapons you can play with. Primary weapon, which is your main weapon being the strongest and mostly used. Secondary weapon, which you can combo with your primary or just as a backup weapon when you run out of ammo in your primary. And the melee weapon for close combat situations and sometimes used for utility. Fun fact, there was a class used for a TF2 mod that doesn't exist in the original game called the Mercenary. It would be a class used for a deathmatch game mode where each player would have a respective color assigned, making it a free-for-all game mode. But since the game mode was scrapped, the merc was unused, and since the game's release, TF2 has remained a team versus team, red versus blue game, with a max of 12 players on each team, except for the previously mentioned competitive mode, which is 6v6, or the community competitive Highlander, which is 9v9. And you also have Prolander, which is 7v7. There was also supposed to be another class called the Civilian, but due to the class being unfinished, the idea was scrapped out of the game. In case you'd like to try these classes classes though, there is a mod called Team Fortress 2 Classic that has the civilian as a playable class, and many weapons that don't exist in the real game. Another mod called Open Fortress, which is essentially the free-for-all game mode using the mercenary. If you're curious, I'd recommend you try them. They're super fun and safe to play. And trust me, this is not a sponsor, it's legit my recommendation, no one is paying me to say this. Now let's dive a bit deeper into each class, starting with the very first class, the Scout. Scout is the fastest class in the game, having a base speed of 133% and the ability to double jump. He's a movement-based class, making him very tricky to kill due to the fact that he never stands still. Scout has a total of 125 HP and his default weapons are the scattergun, the pistol, and the bat. Soldier. Soldier has a base speed of 88% and he's great for multi-killing and distance kills due to his primary weapon, the rocket launcher, which deals a high amount of damage within a big radius. If that wasn't enough, the soldier can also rocket jump around the map, allowing him to get to difficult spots or even getting away from a tricky situation with the cost of a little bit of his health. The soldier has a total of 200 HP and his other default weapons are the shotgun and the shovel. Pyro. This monster of destruction puts fear in even the bravest men. With 100% base speed and a total of 175 HP, Pyro burns down his enemies with his flamethrower. He's also able to air blast enemies back to gain distance with the cost of a little bit of his ammo, and he can also extinguish his burning allies, giving him a little bit of health if below the max HP. He can also air blast projectiles such as rockets, sticky bombs, arrows, and others. Pyro's remaining default weapons are the shotgun and the axe. Demoman. This drunk Scottish Cyclops loves to blow up his enemies in style. With a base speed of 93% and a total of 175 HP, Demoman uses his grenade launcher to deal a high amount of damage if hit directly on the enemy, and a lower explosive damage if blown near an enemy. As a secondary weapon, we have the sticky bomb launcher, which launches grenades that, well, stick to surfaces, as the name implies. 8 of these bombs can be placed in total at a time, and all of them can be blown up at the same time in demand. His melee and final weapon is the bottle. Heavy. This fearsome giant is the slowest class in the game, but also has the most health. With a terrible 77% base speed and 37% base speed if his primary weapon is getting spun up, but an impressive total of 300 HP, Heavy loves to put a lot of bullets into his enemies' skulls with his trusted minigun, aka Sasha. Also, he gets really pissed if someone touches it. Don't touch my gun! His remaining default weapons are the shotgun and his own fists. Engineer.
Engineer? Yeah, I'm engineering my fucking limit!
This old Texan doesn't mind handling his business the old way, but he prefers to sit back, relax, and drink beer while his machinery do all the work. With 100% base speed and a total of 125 HP, the engineer comes with a PDA and a destruct PDA. The PDA is able to build a sentry gun, a dispenser, and a teleporter entrance and exit, while the destruction PDA is able to do exactly the same, except it destroys your stuff instead of building them. Each build has 3 levels, all starting in level 1 and taking a few seconds to be fully deployed. And to build and upgrade them, you need metal, which you can get by collecting ammo boxes or from collecting destroyed parts in case you destroyed your buildings or they got destroyed by the enemy team. The sentry gun requires 130 metal to be deployed, the dispenser requires 100 metal to be deployed, and the teleporter entrance and exit requires 50 metal each to be deployed. Each building requires 200 metal to get a level up, meaning that for level 3 you require a total of 400 metal per build, which is a total of 1,600 metal to get all builds to level 3. The engineer can get up to 200 metal, and his other default weapons are the shotgun, the pistol, and the wrench. Medic. This German doctor is able to save his teammates from dire situations. Using his medigun, he's able to heal his teammates and even give them more HP than they currently have, therefore being called overhealing. The overheal value is 150% of a class's base health capacity. The medic also has an ability called Uber Charge. When the Uber bar reaches 100%, you can activate it, and for a few seconds you and the person you're healing become immune to any damage for a few seconds. However, you can still get knocked back by air blasts, sticky bombs, rockets, and so on. Medic can't heal himself, however, if his HP is below his max health capacity, he gets 3 health points per second, and it can go up to 6 health points per second if he doesn't get hit by any means until he's fully healed. Medic has a base speed of 107% and a total of 150 HP, and his other default weapons are the syringe gun and the bone saw. Oh, you know what they say, German medicine is the best in the world. Huh, haven't I heard that somewhere? Sorry about that, let's just move on. Sniper. Well, there isn't really much to say for this Australian guy. Never missing a shot, Sniper can quickly make a hole in his enemies' heads by using his trusted sniper rifle, which when aimed through its scope can be charged up to 100%, dealing maximum damage. Sniper has a base speed of 100% and a total of 125 HP, and his other default weapons are the SMG and the Kukri. Spy.
My favorite class is the Spy.
This French gentleman has the ability to instantly kill his enemies if he lands a backstab with his butterfly knife. He can also go invisible for a limited amount of time using his invisibility watch, but it can be partially seen if on direct contact with the enemy. Spy can also sap any engineer's builds with his sapper, leaving them inoperative for a few seconds. If the engineers don't repair their builds in time, they get destroyed. The Spy can use his sapper without any cooldown, but can only sap one build at a time, and the engineer can only fully repair one build at a time. Last but not least, the Spy can disguise himself as any class in the game, even as someone from his own team, and he has a base speed of 107% and a total of 125 HP. Spy's last default weapon is his revolver. Phew, this was a long list, but at least you got to know TF2's characters a little bit better. I highly recommend you watching the Meet the Team video on YouTube. I'll leave a link to it down below in the description. Now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about a topic that makes TF2, well, Team Fortress 2, the items. TF2 has a large variety of different items you can obtain, collect, and use. From weapons to cosmetics, taunts, and others, these items can make a huge impact on how you play the game, specifically the weapons. It's also estimated to exist over 1,698 different cosmetics in the game at the moment. But there are also lots of weapons for all classes that you can get by just playing the game. Each weapon has its own attributes, both good and bad, that can drastically change your gameplay. Thanks to this variety of weapons, there are loadouts created with a specific set of weapons in order to create what everyone calls subclasses, which are loadouts focused on a specific playstyle, like Demoman, Pyro, and Huntsman Sniper. And a few subclasses might even include a set of cosmetics to fit in the team, like Pyro Shark, the Observer Spy, and the Fat Scout, aka Shotgun Heavy. Your subclass can also fit on a subcategory of competitive, gimmick, joke, or friendly. Now, what makes items even more unique is their rarity. Yes, items have different rarities that can make them more rare and really expensive, and don't get me started on strange parts and killstreak kits. Each rarity has a different representative color, and these are all the currently existing rarities in the game. There are also some rare cases of an item having two rarities at the same time, like Strange Vintage, Strange Genuine, Strange Unusual, and Strange Collectors. Now that we got this topic out of the way, let's talk about the only part of the video that is not so good, which is the downsides of the game as well as its current state. As mentioned earlier, the game is free to play, and you can get weapons and very rarely even cosmetics for free. All you have to do is play. The thing is, this game has approximately 150 different weapons currently, and there may be more. And for you to get them all, you're gonna have to grind a little bit. Also, if you're looking for more eye-catching loadouts and even full inventories in case you're a collector, get your wallets ready because TF2 items are expensive. Many I'd even argue to be overpriced, but if you're really into it, you can get some sick loadouts for cheap. Another unfortunate thing is that even though with a very active community, TF2 hasn't had a major update in over almost 5 years. Now to finalize this topic, I'll just quickly talk about the most important subject of today's video, the current state of the game. Well, let's just say it's concerning. Unfortunately, the game is a bit overcrowded with cheating bots, and even though the TF2 community has launched the hashtag SaveTF2 movement to help the game see better days, it didn't do as much as everyone expected. Yes, we've been getting some quality of life updates here and there, and the amount of bots in the game have been decreasing, but it just isn't enough. Now, I'm not blaming Valve or anyone related to TF2 development for these things to be happening, but couldn't you at least make a better anti-cheat system? Anyways, it is what it is, and it doesn't really matter considering that after all these years, TF2 is still in the top 10 most played games on Steam every day, according to Steam charts. To be honest, the game was pretty worse a couple of months ago, and thankfully it's getting slightly better by the day, so I guess it's a win in the end. Thank you all so much for watching, and thank you even more if you watched the video until the end. It means a lot. I hope you enjoyed this Team Fortress 2 review, and you have no idea of the other game reviews I already have in mind. I promise those will be awesome. Special thanks to Tig119, The Gaben Zone, Murasama69, and Dusty Auto for providing feedback and footage for the video. Their links will be down below in the description, so make sure to go check them out. By the way, I stream on twitch.tv every now and then, so go check me out. I also have a donation page in there in case you'd like to support me for more videos like this, and I'll also leave my trading URL in case you want to donate via TF2 items or just propose a trade. All the support is highly appreciated. And also, don't forget to subscribe if you aren't already, and like the video if you enjoyed what you saw. Also, tick the bell icon because why not? Feel free to spread the video with your friends, enemies, and foes alike. That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope to see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay positive, and stay awesome.